Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Get Up and Go. Monday Morning Get Up and Go. I'm your man, Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me with the show on Monday mornings. We really just help people get moving, get inspired, get rocking and rolling, get some stuff, some oomph to get your day going. I really want to get you to think. I really want to get the wheels turning every Monday morning. See, here's what happens with a lot of us in our lives. We get up and everything just kind of, we get on the hamster wheel, right? We start doing the regular and we don't think. So I want to get us thinking this morning. I want to get us inspired. I want to get us moving so that our week can be a different week. All right. So we're going to get started this morning. And this morning's session is entitled Obstacles versus Opportunities. And if you're on LinkedIn or if you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, you probably saw the title that I said, what you see depends on what you believe. Oh, yeah. All right. And we're going to talk about that a little bit this morning. But before we jump in, do me a favor. If you want to know when we're going live, if you want to get access to some of the messages and some of the different things that we share each week, text me 410-936-4049, 410-936-4049. For those of you that are overseas, we're working on how you can do that through WhatsApp or whatever, 410-936-4049. So those of you on Instagram, hey, Jatendra, how you doing? Danny, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, listen, let's get started with this thing this morning. So I got to ask this question. What do you see when you see a magic trick? I don't know if you've been on Instagram, if you've been on Reels, or if you've been on TikTok or whatever, but there's a lot of these memes or these little videos where there's a guy and he's got a cup and he's got three balls, or he's doing these different things and he's making the ball appear in different places, right? When you see a magic trick like that, what do you think? Do you think immediately that's impossible? Or do you think that's possible? I just need to know how he did it, right? So the majority of you are saying, yeah, it's a magic trick. I'm aware it's a magic trick. And I know that as long as I know the process of how to do it, I could probably do that magic trick as well. If I know the process and I practice a little bit, I can do that, right? Taha is saying, I see something different, right? So a lot of us think that about magic tricks, but we don't always think the same thing about our lives, right? When we see magic tricks, some people see impossibility and others see possibility. That's impossible. That can't be done. Or I just need to know how to do it, and I could probably do the same thing myself. There's this activity that I do as I lead trainings, as I lead workshops, as I speak sometimes. One of the activities that I do, there's this thing that I do called handcuffs, right? And what it is this activity where I take a rope and I tie knots in each end, and I put so that each end has a loop in it. And I put each loop over the wrists of people, and then I pair them up into groups. And each group, what I do is I pull one handcuff over the other so that both are interlocked. And every time I do this activity, from the time that I say go, I see people doing all sorts of stuff trying to get out. I tell them to try to get out of it, but they can't take the handcuffs off. They just have to figure a way out of it. So I see them doing all sorts of contortions and they're doing all sorts of crazy. And after a few minutes, there's always one person that says, this is impossible. This is a trick question. There's no way out of this. You're trying to trick us. And I assure them, no, I'm not trying to trick you. There is a way out of this. And the more that I assure them, the more that they try different things and they keep seeing and saying, no, this is impossible, Robert. There's no way out of this. And then at the end, when I show them how it's done, they say, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Or I didn't think about doing that particular thing. Right? And that's the way it is for a lot of us in our lives. As a matter of fact, I want to introduce our quote for today. And our quote for today is from Wayne Dyer. It says, if you believe it will work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe that it won't work out, you'll see obstacles. I'll say that one more time. If you believe it'll work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, then you'll see obstacles. And here's the thing for a lot of us in our lives, although we don't think of ourselves or we won't admit that we're negative thinkers, in a lot of spaces, we think that it won't work out. How many times during the week do you look at the things that you have to do in your life and you think that's not possible? Or I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't afford this. I can't, right? We say that to ourselves so much because ultimately, if we go underneath it, we don't think, or let me not use the word think. Let me change that word. We don't believe that it will work out. So Wayne Dyer is saying to us, if we start out with a mindset of belief, if we start out with a mindset of opportunity, then that's where we'll end up. If we start out with a mindset of that can't, that's the limit, that can't be afforded, that's not going to work, then that's what we'll see. And here's what it is. It's not this magic trick, right? It's not a magic trick. What happens is that the more that we believe something is going to work out, the more we'll think creatively, the more we'll persevere, the more we'll act with courage, the more we'll take another chance or another stab at it to create the opportunity. The more that we believe it won't is the more that we sit back, the more that we accept, the more that we just feel that that's how life works for us, right? So the mindset of opportunity, the mindset of yes, I can, the mindset of yes, that doesn't look perfect right now, but I see something. I see a possibility for this. Possibility thinking is what allows us to push forward. Impossibility thinking allows us to sit back, right? I want you to think about that. Possibility thinking allows us to see different options or pathways. It allows us to process those types of things. And that shows up in our language. Am I saying we can't do this? Or am I saying I don't see a way to do this right now or yet? Or am I saying, wow, that didn't work this time, but I'm working on another way? What does your language look like? What are you saying? And how are you feeding your mindset every day? Right? I want you to think about tests. When I was in school, I would take tests. Most of us take tests at the end of every quarter, unit, chapter, semester, whatever it is. And if you've ever taken a test and studied for the test, your mind wrestles with some stuff up to the time that the test is going to be taken, right? I remember when I was first taking a real estate exam, I went to the classes, and as I went to the classes, I was like, whoa, this is a lot of information. This is a lot of stuff to take in. And the more stuff that they put on the board or the more stuff that they shared is the more that I thought, man, I'm not going to be able to remember all this stuff. And as the time for my test came, I started to worry about whether or not the stuff that I knew was going to be on the test and the stuff that I didn't know for sure was going to be the majority of the test. I don't know if you felt like that before, right? You've had this experience where you've had to study for a test or you've had to take in information and you were not able to grasp 100% of the information. And so you begin to worry about the stuff being on the test, the stuff that's on the test being the thing that you didn't study or the thing that you didn't know 100%. That's what happens in life. Now, we could have studied, if we were talking about 1 to 100, we could know 90% of the information and not 10% of it. And our minds are going to say to us, left to their own devices, our minds are going to say, yes, the majority of the test is going to be on that 10% of stuff that you don't know. And the reason why we focus on that is because we tend to lean towards impossibility thinking. Impossibility thinking allows us to believe that the world is set up for us to fail and to keep us back all the time. The world isn't set up for you to fail, but the world also isn't set up to give you stuff without a test. So what the world does, what life does, is it helps you to get better. What life does is it helps you to get stronger. And the way that you get better and you get stronger is by believing or navigating your way through these tests. And if you recognize that they're tests that are just set up to make you stronger, then you recognize them as opportunities as opposed to just obstacles. Right? So impossibility thinking says that I'm worried about all of the information and worried that I'm going to be asked the questions that I didn't know. Possibility thinking says I've done everything I can and this is going to work in my favor. And even if I come up with something that's a challenge or something that's difficult, I'm going to figure a way around it because I'm possible. I'm capable. I have that ability. There's a great book by Spencer Johnson called Who Moved My Cheese? And I want to read just something from the book. It says if you do not change, you can become extinct. What would you do if you weren't afraid? What would you do if you weren't afraid? When you're afraid, things are going to get worse. If you don't do something, it can prompt you into action. But it is not good when you're so afraid that it keeps you from doing anything. When you're afraid, things are going to get worse. If you don't do something, it can prompt you into action, but it's not good when you are so afraid that it keeps you from doing anything. Adapting to change sooner makes things easier. Better late than never. Smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old. Movement in a new direction helps you to find new cheese. When you stop being afraid, you feel good. Imagine yourself enjoying your new cheese, and that leads you to the cheese. The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you'll find new cheese. It's safer to search in the maze than to remain in a cheeseless situation. What you are afraid of is never as bad as what you can imagine. When you change what you believe, you change what you do. All right. So that's this book, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. And it really encapsulates this phrase that we're talking about this morning. If you believe it's going to work out, then you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't work out, then you'll see obstacles. So the bottom line here is, what do you believe? What do you believe on a consistent basis? And below what you believe, what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your mind that is going to inform that belief? Are you feeding yourself with negativity? Are you feeding yourself with impossibility? I had a conversation with my daughter the other day, and she was talking about getting herself ready for a test or getting herself ready for an exam. And one of the things that I shared with her was, listen, if you want to get yourself ready for this exam, if you want to get yourself ready for the hard work ahead, do not hang around with people who complain about stuff. Do not hang around with people who find what's wrong in every situation. Do not hang around with people who gossip. Do not hang around with people who are negative. Even if they laugh, about it and try to make it into a joke. Negativity is negativity, and that feeds your mind, and that it turns your mind into that. So what I shared with her is, listen, you want to do well. You want to be in a space. You want to be in a mental space where you just believe that you're going to be amazing, where you just believe that you're going to be at your best, where you just believe that even if things don't work in the way that you want initially, you can push through, you can be creative, you can find another way. If you want to be in that mental space, then you've got to be around people, and you've got to be the person that removes and gives negativity no space and no excuse in your life. So that's my daughter. That's my daughter. That's me. Who are you this morning? Somebody says balance. Yeah, balance is and we'll have a conversation about balance a little bit later. I'm not even talking about balance. I'm talking about removing negativity, removing it, making the decision that how you see something Yeah, while everything isn't perfect, it's okay to admit that things are not at a certain space. But how do you move forward from there? How do you see yourself? How do you see the challenges that are in your space? Right? If you see the sign that says road closed, do you say, "Oh well," and go back home, or do you look for the detour? What do you do? What do you believe? What do you believe? That's all I wanted to share this morning. Listen, if you believe it'll work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't work out, you'll see obstacles. What do you see this morning, and what do you believe? Do you believe in opportunities, or do you believe in obstacles? Maybe I should say it the other way. Do you believe in obstacles, or do you believe in opportunities? All right, y'all. Listen, we do this thing every Monday morning. Monday morning, get up, getting you ready to rock and roll through the week. I want to help you think. I want to help you open up your space. I want to inspire you. I want to motivate you. I want you to be better than you were 5 minutes ago. I want you to be amazing. I want you to be amazing. Join me next Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the Monday morning, get up. Let's do this thing.